Sawadee Krap. Hello, everybody. Welcome again. This is Atum Ra Raw coming here again from beautiful Thailand here at my home. My voice is a little bit deep because I just woke up, but I had some very profound dreams, and I just wanted to come give a nice little message of love, prosperity, everything to you guys today. Uh, this isn't going to be so much of a food message as much as the usual. Of course, it always comes back to our diet and or our livity and what we're putting inside our body and whatnot. But today I wanted to really talk about, man, the cool weather is finally come and everything. But today I wanted to talk about finding and building your paradise here on earth, and not being afraid to try newer things, because everything that we've ever done, at one point we were not the best at it or as skilled or proficient, I should say, as we currently are at that thing. So to not be afraid to try new things. You see, when I moved to Thailand 3 years ago, I had never left the well, I left the States because I used to sing on cruise ships, but I had never really said leave the States to move or live somewhere outside of it for long periods of time. But with that in mind, I also knew that what was happening in my life in that older cycle that I was in, for lack of a better term, that version of myself had to be killed or die. And that's really what it is, what they're talking about when they talk about spiritual rebirth and becoming this new person, is you're killing off the old programming that you lived through. You hear that man coughing out his lungs, man? I hope that he finds veganism at some point, because I don't. Yeah, I sound deep, but I don't have any mucus. But anyways, uh, yes. So to find something new or try something new. When I first moved, all I had was YouTube. But I kept telling myself, me and my brother and my wife, we told ourselves when we were moving that our mothers and our fathers and our ancestors, they got up and made a new way, or created a whole new life for themselves with a lot less planning than what we had. At least for us, we had YouTube to tell us, oh, this is where you should go, this is what you should do when we were moving. But a lot of people, especially like my grandmother, she moved to America from Jamaica, but before Jamaica, she moved to the Bahamas and so many things. And she just did it. She just got up one day and just did it. And that's a major thing. And because she knew where she was at risk for her life at that point, or she just wasn't happy. And I know a lot of us pursue happiness, which I could also consider happiness as an illusionary thing because it's very fleeting and it comes and it goes. But a lot of us need to just be pursuing our balance and our peace. And the best way of doing that is to reprogram. So we have to kill off those old habits, those old natures that we lived in for so long in our minds. Because ultimately, it all comes down to your mental state. Now, your mental state is often influenced by the things that you're putting in your body. If you start looking at everything, and I don't want to say it in a negative side, but if you look at everything that you put in your body as a drug, because it all has an effect on your mental state, then you'll be a lot more conscious of the things you are putting in your body. You see, the me who came to Thailand would have never made it to this place if that version of myself in the past didn't stop drinking alcohol. You know, I used to love going out and drinking with my friends, and nothing to extremes, but I also used to drive home like that. A lot of us do it, and we think it's a cool thing. And I just remember one day waking up after literally just a night of binge drinking and throwing up everything and whatnot. I'm sitting here over this toilet, and I remember saying, I never want to feel like this again. And that literally was the moment that my mind said, all right, throw that away, because that didn't feel good. And from there on, my spiritual journey, I guess you'd say, had just started. But for a lot of people, they aren't willing to create paradise on earth because they're not willing to start gardening inside their soul. You can't make a paradise without any greens and things of that nature. So you have to be the gardener of this Eden. in that sense. But a lot of people are really afraid of, and fear isn't a real thing, but a lot of people have let themselves keep themselves back in so many ways of their life that it's uh, it's just hard to progress once you start putting limitations on yourself. Like, I'm going to give a couple personal stories here. I'm not going to use real names other than this one, I guess, but I'm not going to use name. My father is an amazing man. He's been working since he was 11, maybe even younger than that. I've never known that man to not have a job or anything of that sort. And he is actually a police officer. And I love and I respect him in that sense. I might not always support all of the choices he makes, like we don't do with everybody in the world. But he's a police officer, and in his older age, he would like to be a detective. And I don't know. Ultimately, it's all his path, his choices. But I think personally, my father was gifted with the talent of drawing, and and he's also gifted with the same type of abilities I have in that sense of, feeling other people's emotions, empathy, things of that nature. So yes, that in that line of work, it helps him, to understand and be more lenient, especially in this world and day and age. But at the same time, I personally feel like he could be doing something a little bit different. Or maybe, so instead of being a detective and bringing home the traumas of that work on his own mental state, why not pursue something like drawing, you know? But still in that same line of work, because I am not telling people to change their whole passion and completely erase themselves. But why not try and become a sketch artist for the police, something like that, something that would keep him out of danger, things of that nature. And I myself am a singer, and while I was coming up through singing and doing music, at first it seemed like it was just another way of escape for me. But I used to always tell myself, I don't know if it was subconscious or whatnot, but I used to always tell myself, listen, God, Ra, gave me this ability that many people would, I don't want to say kill for, but when many people would have loved to have the ability to sing. And everybody does have that ability. It's all frequency, right? So I used to say many people would love this ability. God gave me wings so I could fly, not so that way I could continue just doing something that has nothing to do with my wings. You understand? If I was blessed to have wings, I would use my wings. And that's something that a lot of people don't see in their life. I know a girl who's an amazing chef, and um, she might not have all the clientele that she wants. Vegan chef, of course, because I wouldn't be talking about a butcher, but she might not have all the clientele that she wants, and she might not be in the right space that she wants to be in. And in my dream, this person actually appeared, and but in my dream, I was actually on a cruise. I guess that's still. I was on a cruise, and this person was the chef of the cruise, and everybody was just raving about this person's meals and everything. So that looked, and she was extremely happy in this dream. So that seemed like that became a new reality that could have been a, a a paradise for her in that aspect. But of course, we won't be able to see the beauty of the things around us if we're constantly battling the pollutions that's inside of us. You understand? So my my main goal or my main journey or information to give in this video is to always connect back to the body, to still your mind so that way you can have the time to let this energetic process work on you, and you can find enlightenment towards the proper path. Because if you're here right now able to watch this video, then you're on the right path, but you might not see it as the right path. Even if it's a corrupted one, that's a path you have to walk, in order to get the experience points to get to that next stage, to that next level. Always moving forward is a big thing that Rasta community and Jamaicans and a lot of Caribbean people is they often preach. Everything is one step at a time, and we're always progressing towards something. But it's all them just living and having that motion, that forward motion, is what keeps us away from the frequency that is death. You understand? Because having perfection means stillness and nothing changes, and that's death. And that's how these a lot of these systems and societies that we are currently in have been. Let me move over some because I see the sun is moving, and I like to move with the sun. Actually, I want people to also take that into account because they feel like they have some dark days or everything of that nature. And I just want people to also know that no matter how it might seem, the sun has never left you. You just, if I'm gonna say Earth as you, then you've just been turning your face away from the sun. But the sun has always been there, just like the moon has always been right there, and we are always surrounded by rainbows. We just don't see it. But once you start to open up your mind to that thought and realizing you do see it, then it's a whole different ball game that you're in, you know. So I believe in a paradise. I don't call it a heaven so much, but mine is right here because I've changed my mental state and I'm working on it every day, and we come closer and closer to incorruptibility and being natural in our processes and letting the emotions come and go. Like, look, there's a giant fly that just landed on my arm, and many people, if they're not in the right mental state, they would have swatted that away and whatnot. But imagine if everything that you came in contact with did that same thing to you. You wouldn't like that feeling, and that's a part of the balance that you have to find. You have to realize that there is beauty in every situation. That change is not your enemy, and even if it's rough, there's many things in life that are rough. Shoot, I'm certain many of us have probably had relationships, you know, or entanglements that started out a little bit rough, but then it gave you such a bliss or a pleasurable feeling. But we want that to not just be only on that aspect of physicality. We want that to be a physicality that's combined with the spiritual, you know, so that way you're fixing, or it's not just like a dopamine release to be happy for a moment. You want to have that as your state of consciousness, your state of being. Now through exercise, which that word is key, because a lot of these things that we're dealing with are demonic. So we have to exercise them off of our bodies, exercise these demons, so to speak, every day, and keep that motion. Because when we get still, the stillness, this body is not a still thing. You know, we might have moments like the cats where we'll be able to sit down for a long period of time and not move one, but and that's like a meditation. But when we start to do it for too long, it's a death state, and we don't need that. We're ready to try and live a life in heaven, live a life in paradise. So that's what we're working towards right now. And I just wanted to give you guys this message real quick to let you know you're on the right path. And don't be afraid to do something that's a little bit different. It doesn't have to be completely drastically different, because I told myself my whole life that I would live in Asia. Growing up, I used to say it was going to be Japan. My mom still talks to me about it. It's like, oh my God, you remember you said it was going to be Japan. But I had to warp that idea a little bit, and I ended up in a place that I couldn't even fathom, because I was willing to change but still work with my nature and the things that are within I. So all I'm saying is be open to the change to create, in order to create your paradise. Because if you feel like you're living in hell, then why would you want to keep that same feeling? I promise you that hell is not the state that you want to continue every day. It hurts a lot more to stay in that type of mental state than it would ever in just trying to change up a habit or change or reprogram your mind, I should say. Anyways, it is a morning time for me, so I'm about to get up, get the energy flowing here with my wife. We're about to do some wonderful Tai Chi. In the near future, we'll probably be shooting videos and showing you guys all of these energetic works that we do. But other than that, I just want to send you all love and prosperity during these times of the changing seasons, because just like the planet is going through different changes, you're going through these changes as well. And Earth never says that winter is worse than spring. It's just another cycle. So I'm Atum Ra Raw. Please like and subscribe. just to help the message reach some people. And I will catch you in the next video. Much love. Sending you prosperous love and positivity, pure love, everything. All right, take care. Bye.